Wow, Pac-Man 99, probably the most wacky modern way to play Pac-Man right now.
No, man. Obviously the most wacky modern way of playing Pac-Man is the Pac-Man Scratcher. Oh, I lost. Amateurs.
What did you just say, Punk?
Amateurs!
Hey, it's John from Adults Have Toys Too. I want to thank How to Game Differently for helping out with that intro. He has another channel on here looking at gaming from the perspective of somebody getting into it. So if you've ever had a question like, I've heard of people talking about this Tales of RPG series. Is it good? And which game should I start with? Then go over to his channel and subscribe instead of subscribing to mine. But here today we're looking at a little bit of a nostalgia trip. Pizza Hut knows that if you're around my age, you've probably spent a good number of quarters in a Pac-Man machine in one of their restaurants. So to leverage that nostalgia value, they brought the Pizza Hut box along with an augmented reality game. It's actually kind of a cool little idea. Let me show you how it works.
So first things first, there's a QR code on the front of the box, and it's right next to a coin graphic, which I thought was kind of a nice touch. Just bring up your phone, grab that QR code with the camera, and then open your web browser, and it'll load up the game. So I've got the web page loaded. I like that it's a web page and that it's not an app that you have to install. I'm going to do a screen record, put it up over here on the side of the screen so you can see what's going on. But it's super simple to use. Just hit play. It'll tell you to put the pizza box flat on a surface, and then it'll show you a map. We'll go ahead and line that map up with the pizza box. And there we are, starting our game. It's your standard AR. There's a joystick along the bottom here. You can move around the board here and look at different angles, come down low. If you come around, you can actually get to the other side, but your controls are still set the same way. So your controls are going to be based on being up here. Whoop. There we go. Just lost. It plays like Pac-Man. If you choose a direction before you get to the turn, it will save that direction. But other than that, it's just a fun little game. If you get a little bit too close, it will lose you. It'll pause the game, so then you just got to reacquire. And
5 minutes later.
Alright, I was never able to reacquire it, but it worked before. Back to the studio.
It's just that simple. But let's take it a little bit deeper. This is part of a trend that I've been seeing that I find kind of interesting. People around my age who were born somewhere in the mid-80s are now in that area of their career where they're starting to have a little bit more expendable income. And companies know it. And what better way of getting a piece of that 90s kid's pizza pie than using that nostalgia and just drilling straight into it? And yes, I'm saying 90s kid. While Pac-Man is a game of the 80s, really what they're leaning into, if you look at the marketing, is that 90s aesthetic. Look at the logo, look at the restaurant they're using with the tablecloths and the red cups and the lamps. This really brings back that memory of running over to my mom asking for a few more quarters so I can pop it into that Pac-Man machine or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade or that red Neo Geo.
All right buttons and do joystick.
So one way of looking at this is using nostalgia as a weapon to try to get money out of people from my generation. And I can tell you it worked. This is the first time I've bought a Pizza Hut pizza in years. But the other side of me is actually appreciating this. It's kind of cool to see the properties and things that I was interested when I was a child being reimagined or being leveraged in ways that are pandering to me. And pandering can sometimes be a little nice. And you can really tell the people working on these marketing campaigns and products are people who are around my age, people who grew up in that environment and really understand the material in a way that people from another generation might not. So while the core motivation behind this is, of course, money, there is an element of love and care that goes into something like this marketing campaign. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing how more of this plays out, because it is kind of an enjoyable experience to revisit things from my childhood in a new light. So what do you think? Is this a soulless cash grab out to use your brain against you to get your money? Or is this a delicious addition to your pop culture world?
Hey, John, Have you got any of that pizza left over for, you know, me helping out with this video?
Never stop having fun.